when we see these kinds of strikes, like they're good for two reasons. One, for the workers who are actually, like, the actors and everything else. But two, it gives a lot of people, I think, room and permission to go on strike more. So, you might have heard of screenwriters. They are the people who write the scripts and the jokes and these shows that you and I watch on a daily basis or weekly basis, sometimes, depending on what it is. These folks have had their jobs threatened by the kind of structures, the producers of shows, trimming down on the use of writers and leaning a bit into the use of AI to kind of write some of their shows, along with the kind of way that writers end up writing a show. Just kind of had their role, I guess, a bit reduced over the last couple of years. This has led to a reduction in the ability to live off of being a film and television writer, unless you are a big time, unless you're an executive producer. It makes it kind of hard. And right now they are, I believe, 2 months. I could be wrong about that. They are 2 months into their strike right now, which has halted a couple productions. Some have gone through. We all know famously that Deadpool 3 has continued filming, has gone through and continued filming. There's obviously going to be things about that will probably, that you've probably heard. I think there's a, what's the word I'm looking for? A little bit of a restricted ability to improv, which, not to say that they won't film it. It's just all about what actually gets released. But either way, point is, to go along with this Writers Guild strike, SAG-AFTRA has joined the fray in fighting for the rights of the real, I think, filmmaking body. SAG-AFTRA TV theatrical streaming strike has been ordered effective July 14th at 12:01 a.m. Additional details. Yeah. So, let's take a look a little bit, shall we? All right. Hollywood actors are officially... Get out of my way, you stupid paywall. Let's zoom in just a bit here. Let's go dark mode so we can actually see, shall we? Hollywood actors are officially headed to the picket line. Unable to reach a deal with producers, members of the Screen Actors Guild, America's Federation of Television and Radio Artists, will join up with more than 11,000 already striking film and television writers starting at midnight. The failed negotiations with the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers means film and television productions featuring actors will immediately halt, essentially shutting down Hollywood. It'll be the first tandem strike in the industry since 1960. All right. We will watch. We are victims here, said Fran Drescher, president of the Actors Union, during a news conference Thursday. We are being victimized by a very greedy entity. I am shocked by the way the people that we have been in business with are treating us. It's disgusting. SAG-AFTRA members are already taking the strike seriously. Oppenheimer actors left the film's London premiere Thursday. Director Christopher Nolan told the crowd that the cast left and are off to write their picket signs. The film opens next week. During the strike, actors will be permitted to promote past projects through conventions, interviews, or panels. This includes any Emmy Award campaigning, nominations for annual award show. Nominations. Oh my God, did I just get lost? Includes any Emmy Award campaigning. Nominations for the annual award show were announced Wednesday, and the ceremony is set to take place September 18th on Fox. Heading into negotiations last month, Hollywood performers were looking to improve wages, working conditions, and health and pension benefits, as well as create guardrails for the use of artificial intelligence in future television and film productions. Additionally, the union is seeking more transparency from streaming services about viewership, so that residual payments that can be made equitable to that scene or on linear TV. So, I am not, I'm not an actor. I don't, I'm not in SAG or anything. But the way that it's kind of been explained to me is, because a lot of the executives and a lot of these companies own the streaming sites. Like Disney owns their own, Netflix owns their own, and also their what's the word I'm looking for? Since they own the platforms, there is a certain amount of transparency that they just don't have to engage in terms of how many subscribers they have, in terms of how much viewership each like show or each like episode is getting. And a lot of that transparency needs to be made for actors and for the people who are making these shows so that they can kind of get their deals. Because when depending on how it is that you're going to basically get paid from either writing on TV shows or acting in any of them, is going to come down to some of it is viewership, some of it is like basically how much the show is bringing in. And if those numbers are obscured or they're not available, then it makes it really hard from a actor's like position to argue for better pay, better conditions, all of that stuff. So, information withholding is one way that like you see these studios and you see these platform holders kind of withhold some of the value that these shows create through subscriber counts and everything else. It's kind of how a lot of these companies get around paying out some of these people, or at the very least like coming to the table in like good faith in terms of what their compensation is going to be like. Also just the format for like, if you're on like a television show, right, you're going to be writing for that TV show for a couple weeks while they film, while they do a bunch of other stuff. The only thing that comes to mind that would be like a good frame of reference, because I'm trying to think of like what a good example of this is. And there's a Netflix show called Love. It came out, oh God, maybe 5-6 years ago. It's a bit on the older side. It's a Judd Apatow show. Good show. But one of the characters on it is he's like an on-set like teacher, and like you get a bit of a look into, because he begins to like, he shifts into, or at least attempts to become like a writer on the show, and you kind of get a look into like how the production works a little bit. Obviously it's like dramatized and like it's a comedy that, there's a lot of stuff that's bullshit in it, but the kind of idea of like, all right, yeah, like if they're gonna go film in Georgia, then you need to go with the cast and crew, you need to go with everybody else and go and travel while you're trying to write the show. There's always when you just write a script for a television episode or for a movie or whatever, that script is then like, as filming like continues, you're obviously like making small edits. You're like, oh, okay, this didn't work. Like this line didn't work. What if we like did this instead, and stuff like that. But the people who wrote the initial show still need usually would be there to kind of work all of that stuff out, and they'd get paid for a lot of that time on set and everything else. But what the industry's kind of tried to shift people into is gig work. Adam Ruins Everything. I forget his last name, but he has like good videos explaining how like the structure is different. If I can find it, we could watch that if it's short. I just don't want it to take too long. Anyway, oh hey, Sensible Center's here. I'll read that in a second. Heading into negotiations last month, Hollywood performers were looking to improve wages. We did that already. Seeking more transparency. We did that already. You cannot change the business model as much as it has changed, and not expect the contract to change too. The Writers Guild of America, which has been on strike since May, is seeking higher compensation and residuals, particularly when it comes to streaming shows, as well as new rules that will require studios to staff television shows with a certain number of writers for a specific period. The Guild also is seeking compensation throughout the process of pre-production, production, and post-production. Currently, writers are often expected to provide revisions or craft new material without being paid. The WGA also shares similar concerns over the use of artificial intelligence when it comes to script writing. This one specifically, it's basically what they want to move into going into the future is you write a script. They then kind of, feed that script to AI. They pay you for 1 day, 2 days worth of work, have the AI pump out something that is technically different, but is still based on a lot of your work. And then they go from there. Like, that's pretty much it. Or you come in, or you come in and do touch-ups on a completely AI written script. But then you're only getting paid piecemeal for these little things instead of for the actual script writing process. SAG-AFTRA said producers have been unwilling to offer its members a fair deal and have worked to delay negotiations. The AMPTP responded to the strike declaration by issuing a statement that it, quote, presented a deal that offered historic pay and residual increases, substantially higher caps on pension and health contributions, audition protections, shortened series option periods, and a groundbreaking AI proposal that protects actors' digital likenesses. Also, I'd love to actually see the deal. And keep in mind also, like, whenever people want to put historic pay and, you know, residual increases, it's always like, what? We're giving you like 20% now, even though it's like, yeah, 20% like doesn't mean as much anymore. Or like if 20% is like a number that they're comfortable with giving up. You always gotta, you know, we're never gonna really see probably the actual negotiating terms, but like something tells me it's all like, you know, quarter loaf. Like, look, we're giving you a quarter loaf. What do you want from us? Addressing the producers, a statement, Duncan Crabtree, Ireland National Executive Director and Chief Negotiator for SAG-AFTRA, dismissed the AMPTP claims, especially when it came to the AI proposal. In that groundbreaking AI proposal, they proposed that our background performers should be able to be scanned, get paid for 1 day's pay, and their company should own that scan, their image, their likeness, and should be able to use it for the rest of eternity in any project they want with no consent and no compensation. So if you think that it's a groundbreaking proposal, I suggest you think again. Oh yeah, that's fucking awful. Drescher called the AMPTP members crazy, called the response actors to the actors' proposals insulting. SAG-AFTRA's comments come as reports have surfaced about tactics studio producers allegedly plan to implement against writers, namely that producers don't plan on attempting to negotiate with writers for several more months. According to the reports, producers expect writers will run out of money and possibly lose their homes and be forced to... Oh, I think I've seen this. Yeah, I think I saw this headline. There was like a... Yeah, here it is. Hollywood Studios WGA strike endgame is to let writers go broke before resuming talks in fall. Yep. Regardless of whether SAG-AFTRA goes on strike this week, the studios have no intention of sitting down with the Writers Guild for several more months. And keep in mind also, like, that kind of idea, the whole like, oh, we'll scan you as a background, as like a background actor, we'll just scan you and that'll be it. Like one day, like maybe you get scanned and that's literally the only thing you do. You can't live off of that. That's no longer a job. That's no longer like, people can't be background actors and actually break into the industry in any kind of meaningful way at that point, or even just do it because it's the thing that they like to do. You know, there are people who are good at like, who are good background actors. That is like a skill, and they're trying to like take that away from people, because at the end of the day, it's mostly just profit seeking. You know, if they can pay you for 1 day and use your work, the thing that you did for like, you know, all eternity, then they'll do it. You know, and they'll do this to actors as well. You know, if they can make some deal with Brad Pitt or somebody to scan them, and then that's it. You know, they never have to cast Brad Pitt again. They just have to, you know, they can just CGI his ass into stuff. Then, you know, that's it. Brad Pitt doesn't get any more work. You know, they get the rights to his likeness, meaning like, you know, they make money off of his notoriety and appearance in any movie that they digitally implant him into. Let's see. While the AMPTP has denied these reports, studio executives have remained outspoken about what they consider unreasonable contract requests. We managed as an industry to negotiate a very good deal with the Directors Guild that reflects the value that the directors contribute to this great business. Now, keep in mind also, directors have so much more power and are a lot higher up. It's not really shocking. The same way, the same reason why your manager is paid more than you, while they create objectively less value in the workplace, is why they get better deals. Like, the purpose of a manager, and, you know, directors also are artists, but like, keep in mind the monetary relationship, the financial relationship is the same for directors as it would be for like any manager of like a restaurant, of a retail store, of anything. Like, at the end of the day, they're there to keep everybody else and every other cog spinning. That's their entire job. So like, you want to make sure that those people are taken care of so that they take care of all of, like, you know, the millions of underlings that you have under them. Let's see. Disney CEO Bob Iger told CNBC on Thursday morning ahead of SAG-AFTRA's announcement, quote, "We wanted to do the same thing with the writers, and we'd like to do the same thing with the actors. There's a level of expectation that they have that is just not realistic, and they're adding to the set of challenges that this business is already facing. that is quite frankly very disruptive. Oh yeah, and like keep in mind, like a reduction in Bob Iger's wage is never on the table. He will say it's disruptive. He will say that like, oh, it creates a lot of challenges. My dude, you sit there and sign papers and like get paid what, millions per year? I don't even know what Bob Iger makes every year, but I can guarantee you Bob Iger does not create the same value that any director of any movie at a Disney studio ever has. Like, not even close. Iger noted that the industry has not completely recovered from the coronavirus pandemic, and these strikes come at, quote, the worst time in the world. Yeah, it's kind of the point. It's kind of the point. When you're desperate, this is what happens. At the end of the day, strikes need to be timed in a way to, what's the word? Capitalize on the most vulnerable time for CEOs. It will have a very, very damaging effect on the whole business, and unfortunately, there's huge collateral damage to the industry, to people who are, support services. I could go on and on. It will affect the economy of different regions, even because of the sheer size of the business. It's a shame. It really is a shame. Now, keep in mind, again, if he's so concerned about, any of the like service staff, so any of your like on-set caterers, your on-set builders, like stuff like that. If you're actually concerned about that, Bob Iger, then you and Disney and every other head of a studio can continue to pay those people per this time. That's if you really care, if that's what your real concern is, then you can pay them, or you can go to the negotiating table in good faith. Those are the options. This, at the end of the day, is no different than like, Russia complaining about like, pushback from Ukraine for their invasion, and then being like, look, we want to end this like as quick as possible. Come on, like, it is being unreasonable. Like, look how much damage this is creating. It's like, well, you could stop the invasion, and for, Bob Iger and the ilk like him, you can come to the negotiating table. That's all you have to do. You're the one, you're the ones who hold all the purse. So, Anyway, let's see. What did Sensible Center say? I love how his name is Sensible Center, and I can tell he's like, yeah, LARPing as workers. Like, oh boy, yeah, like most useless sector of society, LARPing as workers. I get the kick out of what adlapated upper crust babies do to pass the time. Same class of people who consider themselves to be considers a poet at large. Whatever happened to just doing your job and going home? Man, what a pro. I have never read a more boot-licking chat message in my entire life. Fire all the screenwriters and place them with ChatGPT. Most of the TV shows and movies are already drivel and simultaneous. Yeah, okay. Right. Sensible Center, somebody who's probably never created a piece of art in their entire life. Certainly. All right, yeah. We read this. I want to take a little bit. Oh, no, I don't want this. No, I want the one. Let's see, pulling back making Marvel Star Wars content. Oh, I'm actually okay with that. Where is it? Oh, well, I guess we already read the Bob Iger stuff. Let's hear Fran Drescher's whole bit, shall we?
Thank you, Duncan, and thank you, everybody, for coming to this press conference today.
Can't be real workers.
Really
they only create the culture that people like.
That
create
this negotiation
around.
Be covered, because the eyes of the
it's
world, and
take.
particularly the eyes of labor, are upon us. What happens here is important, because what's happening to us is happening across all fields of labor, by means of when employers make Wall Street and greed their priority, and they forget about the essential contributors that make the machine run. We have a problem, and we are experiencing that right at this moment. This is a very seminal hour for us. I went in earnest, thinking that we would be able to avert a strike. The gravity of this move is not lost on me or our negotiating committee or our board members who have voted unanimously to proceed with a strike.
And keep in mind, as much as like people will kind of deride like, you know, Hollywood actors, I've seen a lot of articles that like describe this as like Hollywood actors are going on strike. Keep in mind, like the people who you view as like Hollywood actors, the people who are like the, you know, your Brad Pitts, your fuck, I'm forgetting like every actor's name ever, but like all of the big names, right? Like there are maybe only a couple hundred of those big names at best. The like body of SAG-AFTRA is not just like those big heavy hitters, those like, you know, A-list celebrities, not just people who are in Christopher Nolan movies. These are people across like all like sorts of like tiers of the industry. So this is a ton of workers coming out and like showing up and showing a lot of solidarity. You know, like guys like Matt Damon I saw were getting like clipped out of context, like he wasn't in favor of the strike and stuff. Like Matt Damon does not need, like the dude like owns his own studio, the production house and like stuff like that, but like at the end of the day, he is like, the thing he's known for is being an actor, and it's like commendable that he's standing up for and standing with people who like maybe might not be like of his like prominence or on his level, but like absolutely are still valuable members and still are actors, people who are like creating media, creating art for us to consume, giving us something to do other than toil in the fucking mines all the time. So like, and this relationship shouldn't be any different between, you know, these actors and workers in other sectors. She makes a good point. A lot of this is happening across sectors, across this entire country. We're seeing a lot of strikes from Starbucks workers, from Teamsters going on strike all over the country. Like, we should be absolutely in full support of workers being allowed to negotiate and get what they think is a fair deal. To default to whatever an owner, a boss says is fair for you is utter fucking lunacy. You are brain dead. You are dumb. I have no sympathy for your position in life if that's the tack that you take. If you go and ask, that's a delicious boot, may I taste the other? Like, every boss wants this kind of like awful relationship for you and them at the end of the day, while they exploit your labor. And the nice thing is, when we see Hollywood actors, when we see these kinds of strikes, dude above you, when we see these kinds of strikes, like they're good for two reasons. One, for the workers who are actually like, you know, the actors and everything else. But two, it gives a lot of people, I think, room and permission to go on strike more. This is going to be very publicized, and certainly, you know, there are going to be a lot of people who don't want to see a what's the word I'm looking for? A prominent and highly publicized union strike, because that tells every other union this is what you should be doing, or tells every other worker for that matter, this is what you should be doing. Unionize and you can secure these rights for yourself. Like, at the end of the day, that is, you know, the last thing they needed was SAG-AFTRA to go on strike, as well as the writers' strike, because everyone's gonna feel it when shows stop coming out, or when you can really tell that those seasons, you know, I remember like a long time ago, like you could tell what season was the writer's strike season back in like 2000, I think it was 08, 07 maybe. Like every DVD set for like a season of television, you can like be like, yeah, there's like this one season in the middle of this show that just isn't on par with the rest, and it's because of the writer's strike.
It's a very serious thing that impacts
What's up,
thousands, if not millions of
the
people
guy above you,
all across this country and around the world. Not only
this
members
so-called
of
centrist
this union, but people who work in other industries that service the people
This is correct.
that work in this
now
industry.
You've come to the right take.
And so it came with great sadness that we came to this crossroads, but we had no choice. We are the victims here. We are being victimized by a very greedy entity. I am shocked by the way the people that we have been in business with are treating us. I cannot believe it, quite frankly. How far apart we are on so many things.
This one's for you.
How they plead
I'm going to be fine with your
that
jokes,
they're losing money left and
but
right.
I'm not sure about dark branding.
To their CEOs. It is disgusting. Shame on them. They stand on the wrong side of history at this very moment. We stand in solidarity, in unprecedented unity. Our union and our sister union.
Also, crazy thought. You know who doesn't have a fucking you know who doesn't have a union? The digital artists. So like, I'm sure you've seen a myriad of videos on like YouTube, or if you went to go see The Flash, you probably noticed how like lacking the CGI has been over the last, I don't know, maybe like a year, 2 years, I would say. You know, like I don't know when the whole like trend began, and even then, like, you know, as someone who grew up with like Spawn CGI, when people are like, "Oh, that's like really bad CGI," I'm like, look, man. I grew up in the '90s. CGI, like, as sometimes it's not like the greatest these days. Like, I've seen so much worse. My tolerance for bad CGI is rather high. But my point is, you might have seen, like, you know, some people complain about, oh, CGI isn't as good as it was before, or it's really whatever, right? And the thing about that is, like, those workers, the people, the digital artists, those like CGI artists, they're not in any of these unions, unfortunately. They absolutely should start their own, absolutely, but unfortunately they're not, and because of that, they get shafted with a lot of work and tight deadlines that are just hard to meet. And as a result of that, we get kind of a lower quality of work because of that crunch. You know, you see a lot of like kind of the crunch talk in the video game industry, but it absolutely exists in the film industry and on the digital art side of things.
Unions and the unions around the world are standing by us, as well as other labor unions. Because at some point, the jig is up. You cannot keep being dwindled and marginalized and disrespected and dishonored. The entire business model has been changed by streaming, digital, AI. This is a moment of history. That is a moment of truth. If we don't stand tall right now.
Sensible Center, what is your obsession with ChatGPT? I'm like actually kind of curious. I don't know how anybody could possibly be so I don't know how you're so hard for a mangled string of numbers and letters.
We are all going to be in trouble.
Yeah, but you've mentioned ChatGPT like
in
2 or 3
jeopardy
times.
of being
2
replaced
times.
by machines and big business. Who cares more about Wall Street than you and your family? Most of Americans don't have more than $500 in an emergency. This is a very big deal.
I
and
really
it
wonder
weighed
what that
heavy
statistic
on
is
us.
these days. I remember
But
for
at
a
some
long time it was
point, you
most
have to
Americans
say
can't afford a $400
no. We're
emergency.
not going to take this anymore. You people are crazy. What are you doing? Why are you doing this? Privately, they all say we're the center of the wheel. Everybody else tinkers around our artistry. But actions speak louder than words. And there was nothing there. It was insulting. So we came together in strength and solidarity and unity with the largest strike authorization vote in our union's history. And we made the hard decision.
My friend, I've been working in the theater industry for like the last, on and off for the last like 10 years. I think I have some kind of idea of the of showbiz. Also, if you'd like to flaunt your credentials in showbiz, by all means.
That we tell you as we stand before you today.
Yeah, that's colloquially showbiz. Are you like stupid? Like last time you were just kind of being like slightly irritating. Did you like fall down a flight of stairs by any chance?
Hey,
maybe there were some
this
Legos
is
on the
major.
steps on the way down.
It's really serious, and it's going to impact every single person that is in labor. We are fortunate enough to be in a country right now that happens to be labor friendly. And yet, we were facing opposition that
My
was
dude, I've heard so
labor
much worse
unfriendly,
threats on
so
Xbox Live. You're going to have to try
tone-deaf
better than that.
to what we are saying. You cannot
I was
change
there
the
in Modern
business
Warfare
model
2 in
as much as
2005?
it has
6 maybe?
changed, and
I think it
not
was 5.
expect the contract
No,
to
that
change
wasn't
too.
2005. That was
We're not going to keep
2009.
doing
I was there in
incremental changes
09
on a
Modern Warfare
contract
2.
that no
You're going to have
longer
to try a
honors
lot harder than
What
that.
is happening right now with this business model that was foisted upon us? What are we doing? Moving around furniture on
Boy,
the
you probably don't even
Titanic?
smoke. You vape. Spare
It's
me.
crazy. So the jig is up, AMPTP. We stand tall. You have to wake up and smell the coffee.
Oh, damn.
We
She's really
are
laying it on.
labor, and
I
we
respect it,
stand
though.
tall, and we demand respect and to be honored for our contribution. You share the wealth because you cannot exist without us. Thank you.
God damn. Give it up for Fran Drescher. What? Okay, what has she been in? I've always think I've known the name Fran Drescher. I don't know if I actually know what she's been in. Let's see. I'm just kind of curious. Union leader. I mean, that's the most base thing possible. Filmography? Film. Here we go. Saturday Night Fever. Oh, okay. Well, she's in Saturday Night Fever then. Okay. Wait, that's the one with Travolta, right? Yes. Okay. Well, that's a good start. Let's see. Strange in the House, Hollywood Nights, Corpus, Love and Betrayal, Big Picture, Cadillac Man. Why do I feel like I've heard of Cadillac Man? Maybe I haven't. Shark Bait. Ugh. Hotel Transylvania. Oh my god. That's the franchise. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. My god. Oh my god. Oh wait, yeah, wait. I'm stupid as shit. Okay, that's where I've heard the name before. She's the okay. She's homegirl from The Nanny. Okay. Okay, okay. Cool. Wow, I didn't know. I didn't know Fran was so fucking cool. That's good to know. Fucking who hasn't been on Law and Order, honestly. Entourage. I've actually never watched Entourage. Hell's Kitchen, Broad City. That's the one with the. That's the one with the what's his face with the face, right? Homeboy. It's like Atlantic City, right? Oh my god. No, yeah, right? I'm not crazy. Broad City. I don't remember his name. Fucking Mr. Pink. Oh no, this one's Broad City. Oh, that was a good show. I saw a few episodes. That was pretty funny. What am I thinking of then? Broadway City? Broadway City. Is that what I'm thinking of? Broadway City? Broadway City? Am I crazy? No. God damn it. What is his name? Fuck. Reservoir Dogs? Okay. Reservoir Dogs? Wait, Reservoir Dogs came out in 92? God damn, man. Fuck, 92 is like the best one. You know, that's just one more thing it's one more argument I'm gonna make. God damn it. No, what is Steve Buscemi? That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, isn't he in Boardwalk Empire? Fuck, that's what it is. God damn it. I was kind of close. You know the thing that they tell, like at the end of all YouTube videos where they tell you to like click on one of these like things to watch more videos. Yeah, I've been meaning to film one of those. So that's what I was doing. I was just setting it up to film one.